Hello guys, welcome back to LR Anime. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Flame Emperor episode number 579 based on novel. So let's start. The entire flame world is filled with countless dangerous breaths, and even this world begins to crumble a little bit, and with the operation of this formation, all the energy and evil creatures in this world are swallowed up by it. Without any struggle, it turned into a stream of extremely pure energy, constantly growing this terrifying formation of God. The entire flame world is filled with a chilling unease. It seems that everyone clearly feels an unspeakable suffocation. Once this formation is completed, I am afraid that one of them will be born that is enough to endanger the entire Dakian. The terrifying creatures of the world, at that time, the world of Noda will face unprecedented crises and disasters. The leader of the outside world, as well as the evil golem, Lei Sai Beast, and those evil creatures have all been swallowed up by this formation, and their lives and deaths are unknown. The center of the human world is also beginning to collapse, and all the power is turned into a part of the formation. For a time, the angel wings on Qing Yuan instigated, releasing the profound divine power to shelter the coalition army. His face condensed slightly. "You go first." The core inscription in Xiao Yang's body always exudes a trembling and uneasy touch, and all the forces behind him, such as the demon robe, the flame god cauldron, and the soul power, rise together. The body jumped across the sky little by little, emitting towards the edge of the formation. Today's formations are shining everywhere, and even form a bottomless abyss out of thin air. All power is swallowed up by it, and they all slowly disappear. Boom. Holy flame, flame god cauldron, soul power, devil's breath. Xiao Yang's eyes were red at this time, all the power in his body almost poured out, and he kept blasting away at the vortex of the formation, trying to destroy the formation lines, preventing it from functioning. The terrifying offensive swayed for 9 days, but in the vortex of the formation, it did not cause any waves. It seems that this so-called formation of the gods cannot be destroyed by the power of mortals. It's useless. The formation of this formation is too harsh. Now, I'm afraid it's only a long-term plan. The second elder, Xiao Bao, had a serious expression on his soul and body, and immediately opened his mouth. At this moment, Xiao Yang, Xiao Tianming, and many other high-level officials looked at this scene and immediately shook their heads slightly. Leader, retreat. Even though he was extremely helpless, Xiao Yang was still cooperating with the coalition forces and forcibly tore a crack the size of a palm, thus successfully escaping from here. It's just that with the current battle at the center of the human world, although the world leader of the center of the human world and the leader of the outside world have almost fallen, but to a certain extent, this battle is still defeated by the world. No one knows the situation of Tian Yuanzi and the leader of the extraterritorial world, but they understand that once the formation swallows countless living beings completely, and anyone who comes out of it, I am afraid it will be the real catastrophe of the Great Thousand Whirl. That kind of disaster, I am afraid, is countless times more terrifying than the hated foreign evil race. In order to prevent such a situation from happening, we must plan early. Boom. What happened? At this moment, with the retreat of the Endless Flame Alliance coalition, the entire Great Thousand World is surging with scenes of dark changes. The scorching sun that used to hang high in the sky is now full of 2 colors, one black and one white. The black and white scorching sun scorched the heart, and when I looked up slightly, a suffocating feeling filled my heart, and even in that round of black and white scorching sun, there seemed to be countless complex and long golden lines emerging. Even more strange, the black and white scorching sun is like a never-ending vortex, and it releases an irresistible suction force, greedily absorbing all the energy of this world, and some weak creatures are absorbed by it, and it is too late for anything. Struggling, it turned into countless energy, filling the formation in the black and white scorching sun little by little. Heaven, in the main hall of Moon God Palace. Teacher, what's going on? Since the heavenly realm was included in the Endless Flame Alliance, Yueru, the master of the Moon God Palace, and Chang'e's maiden, Yuesh's confidants have also stayed in the heavenly realm. After all, the distance between the two places is very short, and with their strength, they can't help the Endless Flame Alliance too. Many. At this moment, Yueru raised her head slightly, looking at the strange scorching sun above the sky. Her eyes were filled with some kind of worry. For some unknown reason, the moment she stared at the black and white scorching sun, the imprint of the moon god, which had been silent in Yueru's body, suddenly burst into a trace of resistance. That kind of resistance was like 2 generations of enemies meeting each other. Hey, isn't it supposed to come or hide? Chang'e Mianxia Yueshi watched this scene, her expression slowly became serious, and then turned to look at Yueru. She seemed a little hesitant. Although Yueshi's strength is not considered to be the top generation in the Great Thousand World, but the latter, as the first-generation disciple under the moon god's command, is naturally incomparable to ordinary people. Teacher, it's time for you. Are you still hiding from me? Yueru's big watery eyes stared at Chang'e Yueshi, as if she had guessed something long ago. The moon god is indeed the rank of battle god. However, even I don't know much about the records of the moon god. The only thing I know is that to attack the moon god, we need to prepare an artifact, the Shenyu flute. As for the place of impact, I can only vaguely remember a mysterious place that seems to be very close to the underworld. Yueshi looked at Yueru's gesture, and just after speaking, she slowly paced and left the moon temple. Teacher, thank you. With Yueshi's departure, Yueru slowly packed everything she had, and then quietly left here. A faint sigh sounded, and Yueshi also followed Yueru to leave the heavenly realm in secret. On the road to the moon god, I am afraid that Yueshi's help is still needed. It's just that they don't know that the so-called way of hitting the fighting gods, not only the moon god, but also the gods of flowers, poison gods, and other gods are hidden in it, but what awaits them is a scene of death and no life bureau. Ghost world. What the **** is going on here? The master of Soul Eater, Du Chifei, and other high-level officials also stared at the black and white scorching sun through the endless void, and the uneasiness in their hearts became stronger and stronger. Arrange the affairs of the ghost world and gather the Endless Flame Alliance. Duo Chifei thought about it, although she didn't really want to go back to the Endless Flame Alliance, but under such a crisis and catastrophe, as the commander-in-chief of the ghost world, she was to blame. But, even though he had told himself countless times that he had put it down, looking at the four mistresses of the Endless Flame Alliance and Xiao Yang, there would still be a touch of reluctance and unwillingness in his heart. However, the appearance of this black and white scorching sun may indicate that Xiao Yang and others failed to encircle and suppress the center of the human world. It seems that this world still needs to be guarded by himself. In addition, the devil world, the **** world, the demon world, the 7 worlds of the Great Thousand Worlds, except for the Buddha world, all other worlds are in such a severe situation. For a time, one after another order was distributed in an orderly manner, and then endlessly. All the elite commanders under the Yang Alliance gathered together to face the Endless Fire Domain. Endless Flame Alliance Headquarters, Endless Fire Territory. After all, there are only a very few people who know about the fact that the Endless Flame Alliance and the allied forces of the Angel Kingdom attacked the center of the human world together, but as the black and white scorching sun that is like bad news continues to grow above the heads of countless living beings are all trembling, trying to find a behemoth to lean on. And the kingdom of angels without the existence of slaughter angels, and the center of the human world that has long since fallen apart, obviously do not have this kind of power. Now the number one force in the Great Thousand World is undoubtedly the Endless Flame Alliance. But at this time, not only in the Great Thousand Worlds, but also in the Endless Fire Territory, people seem to be panicking. Mothers, according to the information obtained by the elites of my Endless Flame Alliance, with the appearance of this black and white scorching sun, many living beings from weak and small regions in the Great Thousand World were swallowed up by it and turned into part of the black and white scorching sun. Vaguely there is a great sense that the reason why the black and white scorching sun draws so much energy with such great fanfare, I am afraid that the visitor is not good. And the attractiveness of this round of black and white scorching sun is still expanding. In the beginning, it was only enough to devour the creatures under the Do Emperor, but now it is difficult for even ordinary Do Xian to compete. Now Nwoda is a big world and has become popular. Anxiety. I also ask the mistresses to make a decision and make preparations early. In the courtyard of the Mother's Mother in the Endless Fire Territory, a group of elite generals with serious faces gathered together to report in detail the information that is happening in the Great Thousand World. No way, the current Endless Flame Alliance has too much momentum, and this heavy responsibility naturally falls on their heads. Did they really fail? At this moment, the delicate bodies of the four Qianying were abruptly shocked, and they looked at the distant void in disbelief. The allied army, which gathered the Queen of Angels and half of the elites of the Endless Flame Alliance, was actually unable to resist the Lord of the human realm. Everything remains the same, wait for them to come back and make a decision. Anyone who maliciously spreads rumors will be dealt with by the Endless Fire Territory. After a while, Kaylin stood up slightly, her pretty face was icy cold, her eyes were wrinkled, and she responded slightly domineeringly to the doubts in the hearts of many elite generals. Even if Xiao Yang and the others were defeated, with their luxurious lineup, it would not be difficult for them to leave the center of the human world. Yes. Listening to Kalin's domineering words, the pressure of many generals was also greatly reduced, and they all agreed to go on. Time has passed since this terrifying black and white scorching sun appeared to this day. After a day, Xiao Yang and the allied forces of the Angel Kingdom also returned to the endless fire domain from the broken void passage, but when they saw the high hanging in the sky, the irresistible black and white scorching sun above the sky made me feel a little more self-blame in my heart. That is Tian Yuan's masterpiece, but with their strength, with the existence of the leader outside the territory, what can they do? Brother Xiao Yang. Among the coalition forces, most of the strong men looked exhausted, and some even looked bleak and listless. Obviously, in order to escape from the center of the collapsed human world, everyone also spent a lot of money. Zuna, mobilize all the power of my Endless Flame Alliance, and hold the Great Thousand meeting at the Endless Altar tomorrow. This time, it seems to be the real catastrophe. Xiao Yang raised his head and spoke after a long time. No matter what this disaster is, this battle must go on. As soon as the words fell, the entire Endless Flame Alliance was also completely busy. Countless heads of powerful leaders in the Great Thousand Worlds, all under his call, gathered in front of the Endless Flame Alliance. After some orders, the coalition forces also returned to the Endless Fire territory to rest. On the other hand, Xiao Yang entered the secret room alone to retreat. He had 4 spirit orbs in his hand, but he never knew the location of Paradise Lost. Moreover, with his strength, still unable to resist the leader outside the domain, the Xiao family was able to see the sun again, but at this time Xiao Yang felt an even heavier duty on him. If this time is not handled properly, I am afraid that the entire Great Thousand World will be destroyed in one fell swoop. Day 2. Countless powerhouses have long been surrounding the Endless Altar, quietly waiting for Xiao Yang and the others to appear. As of now, I am afraid they can only pin their hopes on the only demigod powerhouses in the Great Thousand World. Everyone. Xiao Yang, the Holy King, and a group of the peak powerhouses of the Xiao clan slowly walked out of the void, looking at the mainstays of the Great Thousand Worlds in front of them. They immediately became loud and clear. Standing here today has long represented the determination of the Xiao clan and the evil clan outside the realm. Lord Xiao, Lord Holy King. Now, what happened to my Great Thousand World? Among the crowd, there are some old monsters with the strength of the ninefold reincarnation rank first to speak and ask anxiously. Because the round of black and white scorching sun hanging above the sky is too weird to resist, it seems that you can only watch the other side continue to expand and devour all living beings in this world. That's the handwriting of the World Master at the center of the human world. He wants to use this formation of the gods to absorb the power of the heaven and earth in the world, and pave the way for him to hit the ladder of fighting gods faced with the doubts of many powerhouses. Xiao Yang did not hide it, said straight to the point. The World Master at the center of the human world. Shock fighting god. Listening to Xiao Yang's understated words, countless powerhouses were slightly shocked, and their minds were even more shocked. The whereabouts of the World Master at the center of the human world are too mysterious, and there is a sense of hatred for the Dacian world invisibly. If the latter is allowed to completely step into the fighting god, I am afraid that the Dacian world will be destroyed under his control. Leader Xiao is not the first to lead the army. After a short while, some of the high-ranking old monsters in the crowd also hurriedly spoke. That's true. But the human world realm lord has many methods, and even controls several divine arts, divine formations, and the strength of the coalition forces that gather us can't completely obliterate him. At the last moment of the battle, he used his own origins as a guide to forcibly open the formation of the gods, and it evolved into the catastrophe it is today. Faced with the doubts and incomprehension of this group of powerhouses, Xiao Yang also explained the reason, because he also knew that this catastrophe was by no means a force in the Endless Flame Alliance could handle. To call you here today, first, to tell you about the current situation. Second, to see your attitude. Now, the black and white scorching sun that has evolved from the formation of the gods is constantly absorbing the anger of the living beings in the Great Thousand World. If it is not stopped, I am afraid that a devil who is enough to threaten the Great Thousand World will really be born. At that time, I am afraid that the power heritage of you that has been passed down for countless years will also be completely annihilated. This battle is countless times more severe than the battle between heaven and earth. Xiao Yang's voice was as loud as a bell, and it echoed in the hearts of countless powerful leaders for a long time. What Xiaoming said is very true, but this formation attack, which was transformed by the human world's lifelong efforts, is terrifying, and I am afraid that it will not be able to cope with our strength. Also ask Alliance leader Xiao to point the way. Among the crowd, many highly respected powerhouses all looked at each other, then stood up together and cupped their hands to Xiao Yang politely. Today's Xiao Yang, whether it is strength or momentum, I am afraid that even the Holy King, Xiao Tianming, and others cannot match. Such respect is worth it. How to stop it? I'm afraid it can only be done by entering the black and white scorching sun. For a time, Xiao Yang slowly raised his head, staring at the strange scorching sun that ruthlessly devoured the heavens and the earth like an abyss whirlpool, and there was no good way to do it. If you step into it, it will be forever. But if you let the other party swallow it, once some kind of mutation occurs, I am afraid that this great world will cease to exist. Entering the black and white scorching sun formation is the last resort. Before that, there is another way. Xiao Yang's eyes gradually became hot, and a vicious aura like a wild beast continued to pour out. Any solution? The crowd asked in unison. Extraterritorial evil race. At this time, Xiao Yang's tone was rather dull. Extraterritorial evil race? What is the relationship between the foreign evil race and the formation created by the world master of the human world? Listening to Xiao Yang's absurd words, the brows of many strong people tightened. Everyone, rest assured, this trip to the black and white scorching sun god formation will go there alone, but there is one more thing that needs to be done before leaving. That is to clear the grievances between my Dacian world and the foreign evil races. Xiao Yang didn't give a shit, and directly told the deeds of the leader of the extraterritorial world and the world master of the human world, but some of the powerful relationships were omitted by the latter. Now that the leader of the outside world and the world master of the human world are trapped in the black and white scorching sun, and the dragons of the foreign evil race have no leader, it is a good time to completely encircle and suppress them. And I enter the black and white scorching sun ***** array alone, and I also need some evil people belonging to the outside world. The breath is good. Xiao Yang continued. Kill all the evil races outside the territory, and rectify the name of my world. With Xiao Yang's reassurance, for a while, countless leaders of the forces also became sympathetic to the enemy, and their momentum was overwhelming. Since that's the case, today's meeting is over, you should go back as soon as possible to gather all the forces in your hands. Tomorrow noon, we will join hands to tear apart the passage of the Buddha realm, take the lead in attacking the base camp of the evil tribes outside the territory, and strive to catch them all. At that time, it is time to completely resolve this black and white scorching sun. Yes. As soon as the words fell, countless areas in the entire Great Thousand World began to be busy. With the end of the meeting, the endless fire territory also returned to its former calm. In the mistress mansion, the four mistresses and Xiao Yang gathered together, but at this time the atmosphere in the mansion seemed a little uncoordinated. Tomorrow, I will lead the Great Thousand World Coalition to completely obliterate the evil races outside the territory. You can protect this place with peace of mind. After a long time, looking at the four worried figures in front of him, Xiao Yang couldn't help but speak. The matter at the center of the human world. What is going on? As Xiao Yang spoke first, Mu Yingying couldn't hold her breath anymore and asked directly. Based on his understanding of Xiao Yang, he naturally knew that what he just said on the endless altar seemed to be hidden. The world lord of the human realm is also known as Qian Yuanzi, and the leader of the extraterritorial world is also known as Di Yuanzi. The two seem to have a very deep relationship. When our coalition forces were about to completely encircle and suppress the human world lord, the leader of the extraterritorial suddenly appeared, overwhelmingly. At the last moment of life and death, the human realm world lord used himself as a guide to force this black and white scorching sun formation. Looking at the four people in front of him, Xiao Yang also dragged out the powerful relationship among them. What are the odds of winning? Cai Lin was also very worried at this time. The leader of the extraterritorial world is not there. Today's extraterritorial evil race can't resist our Great Thousand World Alliance. The purpose of doing this is to go deep into the extraterritorial land and try to explore the details of the extraterritorial leader. Xiao Yang shook his head. In the battle at the center of the human world, if the leader from outside the realm did not suddenly appear, the power of Xiao Yang and others would be enough to completely wipe out the latter, and even take control of the last Earth Spirit Orb, and even spy on the world leader of the human world as true identity. It is a pity that with the activation of the divine formation, the entire center of the human world was completely swallowed up by it, and there was no way to start. Today's plan, naturally, can only focus on the evil clan outside the realm, and Xiao Yang himself knows that in the battle at the center of the human world, with the strength displayed by the leader of the outer realm, I am afraid that even the patriarch Xiao Yuntian cannot comparable. This time, Let's follow you together. Anyway, the fate of this world is in the final battle. If you win, everyone will be happy. Even in the worst outcome, as long as I can be with you, I will die without regret. The next moment, Yun, who had been silent for a while, got up slightly and stared at Xiao Yang with clear eyes. Okay. Seeing the posture of the four girls, Xiao Yang could only helplessly wave his hand. However, Xiao Yang didn't have much confidence in the black and white scorching sun formation, or the leader outside the realm. At least with the current Xiao Yang, he was still unable to turn the situation around with one person's strength. Demigods, quasi-gods, fighting gods. The gap between them seems to be very small, but the gap is as insurmountable as a gulf. Xiao Yang. Not long after, a solemn voice suddenly sounded in the space-time passage of the mistress's mansion. This kind of voice is not unfamiliar to Xiao Yang. It is the Holy King and Yaoji. Senior Saint King, what's going on? Xiao Yang hurriedly got up to meet the latter, but at this time, the faces of the Holy King and Yaoji were very pale, as if they had experienced some kind of fear. Xiao Yuntian is gone. Feeling Xiao Yang's suspicious gaze, the Holy King's body trembled slightly, and even he himself felt ridiculous the moment he said it. Gone? How can it be? At this moment, Xiao Yang's heart beat violently, and his mind went blank. The reason why Xiao Yang can be so calm under such a difficult situation is that the patriarch Xiao Yuntian is undoubtedly Xiao Yang's biggest backup. Any trace? Forcibly holding back the puzzlement in his heart, Xiao Yang still asked aloud. I don't know, I have carefully checked the entire underworld dozens of times according to the route that Hade said, but I haven't found any trace of him. Only a trace of this was found beside his sleeping coffin. As the Holy King spoke, he slowly spread out his palm. On the palm of the hand, there is a trace of milky white flames beating slightly. The milky white flames obviously did not have any substantial temperature and destructive power, but at the moment of their appearance, the four mistresses and the holy flame on Xiao Yang's body couldn't help but have a deep sense of fear. As if this unknown milky white flame in front of them gave everyone a great shock and threat to the holy flames in their bodies. That feeling is like the emperor and courtier who dominate the ages. His eyes were filled with extreme shock, his soul and body trembled violently, and the holy flame within his body appeared uncontrollably all over his body, as if he wanted to protect his master instinctively. What is this? Xiao Yang said in unison. Even if it was a faint flame that appeared in front of them, they could smell an unprecedented unease from it. I have already confirmed it in 3. This is a weak flame, and there is no danger. There is no attribute in the flame. But similar to the situation you just had, even the flame of holy flame ranked second in my body is exactly the same as yours. The Holy King's voice was very soft, but anyone could hear the meaning of the other party's words. The second holy flame on the list of holy flames is able to express such fear. I am afraid it is only the legendary number 1 holy flame. It's impossible to determine whether this belongs to the first holy flame, but the current holy flame, compared with the ancient times, lacks divinity, and some new flames may also have this kind of power. However, I still want to tell you some of the vagueness. In the legend, there used to be the first holy flame and the first divine weapon in the Great Thousand World. The two are almost above everything. No one has seen the appearance of the two divine objects, even in these long years. Among them, there is no record of either. Only some precious ancient books have a few words of records, but as the years go by, they gradually disappear. I suspect that this was deliberately erased. The voice of the Holy King is very calm, but what he said at this time seems to contain another world. The first holy flame, the first divine weapon. All the four girls murmured, only Kaylin and Yunyun tacitly glanced at each other, as if feeling something. The two of them, one has the flower ***** seal, and the other has the 10-color swallowing python. If it is a coincidence, I am afraid it is enough to hit the rank of the fighting god. Remember the mysterious person who secretly chased and killed me when I fell into the demon suppression prison for the first time? At this time, Yaoji also spoke up, guiding everyone's doubts little by little. You mean? At this moment, a shocking thought gradually took root in Xiao Yang's mind. From the moment he came to the Great Thousand World, the encounters along the way, and the gate of the divine artifact in the center of the human world at the back, etc., made Xiao Yang involuntarily vigilant. It seems that by his side, there has always been a little-known creature, helping him silently. Can't say for sure, but it's also a guess. As for Patriarch Xiao, if he hadn't been brutally murdered, he would have gone to attack the god of war. After some conversation, the Holy King shook his head helplessly. After all, everything he said was speculation. Before there was definite evidence, There was nothing they could do. It seems, the current situation is much more serious than we thought. Xiao Yan secretly wrote down these suspicious news in his heart, and then cooperated with the four mistresses to discuss tomorrow's decisive battle between heaven and earth. After the First World War in the underworld, the extraterritorial evil race suffered heavy losses, and after the First World War in the Angel Kingdom was seriously injured, the entire Great Thousand World lived a very peaceful life for a while. With the emergence of the black and white scorching sun, the real crisis is also announced. The new base camp of the evil tribes outside the territory, one of the 7 realms of the Great Thousand World, the area of the Buddha realm. The core of the Buddhist world, the grotto of 10,000 Buddhas. The rolling hills surrounded each other into a huge basin, and countless golden Buddha statues hovered around the basin, as if they were kneeling and worshipping some gods in the basin. Today's Buddhist world, in such a large area, does not have any trace of anger, it is lifeless, and it is completely a scene of hell. In the basin, surrounded by black mist, a gloomy and icy feeling continued to spread, and it could be vaguely seen that there was a majestic magic temple looming, which seemed to be real and virtual, and it was extremely strange. At this time, there are dozens of pitch-black stone pillars standing in the demon temple, and several of them have long been cracked and dim, as if they will be completely shattered at any time. This kind of method is the unique spiritual technique among the evil races outside the territory. Absorbed a trace of anger from a certain creature from the evil race outside the territory, and turned it into a spiritual pillar. Once the pillar of memory is broken, it indicates that the latter's life energy is exhausted. Bang! With a loud bang, the 3 pitch-black stone pillars exploded completely, turning into powder that filled the sky. There seemed to be profound evil energy emanating from them. That level of evil fluctuations was, at least, a monster of the 9 reincarnation stratum. In front of these stone pillars, there are 4 extremely evil figures. There has always been a kind of dead silence in the magic hall. The 4 black shadows seem to be sleeping around these stone pillars, without breathing and without any movement. If it weren't for the terrifying pressure emanating from the bodies of the 4, I'm afraid they would be regarded as it's just 4 puppets. A few of them also failed. At this moment, the most powerful of the 4, the Holy Clan Commander, the Heavenly Demon Holy Emperor, slowly raised his withered palm, took the evil powder into his pocket, and said with a hoarse voice, "What you should really know about Monica Lewinsky. Her beauty. The leader of the outside world has sent countless elites to explore the mysterious place, but without exception, they all ended in annihilation. What exactly did the first seat ask them to do? Now that the Great Thousand World is in civil strife, the Endless Flame Alliance is going all out to attack the center of the human world. This is the best time for the army of the evil tribes from outside our territory to invade the Great Thousand World. Why are you not willing to send troops?" The next moment, an angry voice sounded among the remaining 3 shadows. That is the Earth Protector, the voice of the FA. Now the 4 of them are the Demigod Peak Heavenly Demon Sage Emperor, the Demigod Later Heaven and Earth Guardian, FA, and the Dark Descendant Shadow who has just been promoted to the Demigod rank. Humph, pedantic. Your vision is too short-sighted. We want to get, not just this world. Facing the Earth Protector and FA's roar, the Heavenly Demon Saint King snorted coldly. He and the Heavenly Protector were the only ones who knew the ambition and purpose of the leader of the outside world. The first plan is too risky. If at this time, the Great Thousand World will attack our territory with the power of the coalition forces, I am afraid. Tianhu, FA also shook his head slightly at this moment. Obviously, the 2 of them knew that the leader of the extraterritorial went to the center of the human world. Of course, now Noda is an extraterritorial evil clan headed by 2 people. Indeed, have to guard against. The Emperor of Heavenly Demon nodded slightly, and then distributed a series of orders to defend against the attack of the Great Thousand World to the 2 people around him. Report, the purpose of the first seat has been fulfilled. This is the first token sent by the school, so be sure to protect it. After a while, there was a sudden gust of wind breaking outside the magic hall. This is one of the keys to Paradise Lost, Earth Spirit Orb. He took the evil and heavy magic box in the opponent's hand, opened it slightly, but saw a natural bead lying quietly in it. The error-free chapters of Breaking the Sky God of Yang Emperor will continue to be updated on the hand-playing bar. There are no advertisements in the station. Please collect and recommend hand-playing. In the Buddha's Demon Temple, looking at the guard who was filled with evil aura, watching the rather extraordinary thing in the latter's hands, the body of the Heavenly Demon Holy Emperor slowly trembled, and it turned out to be from the black mist of the body protection. He stretched out a pair of pale palms, and the pair of palms without any blood seemed to contain a deadly evil force, and just stretched out, they went towards the evil magic box. This magic box is the first one that ordered me to return it secretly. The first one said that the Lord of Heavenly Demon Holy Emperor must swear to protect it. The evil guards are obviously not low-ranking, and their strength is also at the level of the 9 reincarnations. Even in the face of these 3 people, they do not feel any uneasiness. Therefore, the latter's words and deeds are also quite important in the eyes of the 3 big men. Okay. Tianhu, Fa, and another newly promoted demigod powerhouse, the Shadow of the Dark Descendants, obviously did not know about the 5 spirit beads of Paradise Lost, so the Emperor Tianmo agreed after confirming it again and again, and carefully collected his magic box. In the sack. The magic box had just submerged into the black mist of the latter's body protection, and a strange wave slowly overflowed. The profound energy of that level even made the Emperor of Heaven and Demon feel a little shocked. If you can get the Earth Spirit Pearl, I am afraid that his strength is enough to take his strength to the next level. It's a pity that there is no power to be absorbed in the 5 spirit orbs, their function is only the key. There are still important things to explain to me in the first seat, farewell. As soon as the voice fell, the mysterious guard disappeared in an instant. Tear. Tian Yuanzi, Di Yuanzi, let the 2 of you fight for 100 reincarnations, so what? As soon as the black shadow left the land of the Buddha realm, it tore out the evil black mist all over his body, leaking out a milky white pattern, as if forming a milky white flame spirit in an instant. Sending the so-called Earth Spirit Orb back here seems to have its purpose. My lord, this guy? With the disappearance of the mysterious guards, the black mist shrouded in the shadows of the Darklings gave off a little doubt. You should take care of the first seat. But since the first one has sent this thing back, then the purpose of the first one is probably about to be achieved. We, too, should start to invade Dakian without giving them any chance to prepare and defend. As long as the first one can succeed, the mere Dakian world is nothing to be afraid of. Due to the erosion of the evil spirits of the evil races from outside the realm, the land of the Buddha has already fallen into a dark place, so it is impossible to see the black and white scorching sun. For a time, the horn of the counterattack of the Great Thousand Worlds had just sounded, but at the base camp of the evil clan outside the Buddha realm, there was endless evil surging, and it seemed that there were endless chrysalis emerging from it. In the Great Thousand World, when the news about the center of the human world spread, it immediately caused a great shock in the whole world, because these events all indicated that the disaster of the Great Thousand World was approaching step by step. Countless people gritted their teeth for the last extreme actions of the World Master at the center of the human world, but there was only a deep sense of powerlessness under the anger. The anger has passed, and there are endless worries in the heart. After all, there is civil strife in the Dakian world, but the evil races outside the territory are eyeing it. Once the enemy is attacked, I am afraid that the disaster in the Dakian world will become irresistible. However, with the cooperation, organization, and call of the peak forces such as the Endless Flame Alliance and the Kingdom of Angels, the whole world once again has a glimmer of hope and expectation. The source of expectation is the so-called Endless Flame Alliance, the so-called descendants of the Xiao clan. Today's Xiao Yang, whether in terms of strength or prestige, has already reached an unmatched level in the entire Great Thousand World. On the second day, the Endless Fire Domain was high in the sky. Now in the entire Endless Fire Domain, countless creatures are all looking up blankly, looking up at Xiao Yang and the others who are stepping in the void. These creatures all bowed to worship, and their respectful voices resounded through the world. Meet leader Xiao. In the high sky, hundreds of well-trained elite troops gathered here, and they all exuded amazing reincarnation fluctuations. Obviously, these guys are all the real elites among the top forces in the world today. Among the crowd, the King of Swallowing Spirit, the Lord of the Sword Domain, the Lord of Space Intelligence Sales, and others were the leaders, and there were even some familiar faces that Xiao Yang had experienced and grown up with. Among the crowd, there are many familiar faces such as the Demon World, the Ghost World, and the Demon World, but the former peers are now the peak powerhouses in their respective regions. The current situation cannot be delayed. It seems that the foreign evil clan secretly knew about our plan. Now the army is gathering. The scale of this battle is probably several times more terrifying than the decisive battle of the First Heaven and Earth War. Once we are defeated, it is our homeland, our family, who will be in danger. Xiao Yang's eyes were serious, and his loud voice resounded through the hearts and souls of countless people. Although Xiao Yang's own selfishness existed in this battle, everything he did now was for the sake of this world. Not getting rid of the outside world has always been a problem in the vast world. Moreover, entering the black and white scorching sun, the danger and the unknown, with the current Xiao Yang, I am afraid that there is only one level of certainty. Go! The army assembled, but Xiao Yang and the others did not say much. After a simple conversation, the Holy King, Xiao Tianming, Xiao Yang, and the three demigods joined forces to slowly evolve countless ancient and mysterious patterns in the void. For a time, the void suddenly split into a never-ending abyss. The abyss is extremely dark, as if it is connected to some gloomy places. Hundreds of elites looked solemn, looked up again at the black and white scorching sun that was slowly growing, and immediately jumped into it. Although the danger level of the aliens is definitely no less than that of the black and white scorching sun, if nothing is done at this juncture, the final result may be swallowed by the aliens, or swallowed by the black and white scorching sun, turning into a god. Part of the array energy. There is death on both sides. Why can't we hold the determination to die and fight for the last battle for a beautiful home? The holy vow of an angel, may all beings be safe. And at the moment when more and more coalition forces did not enter the space passage to go to the Buddha's hell, the body of the angel Queen Qing Yuan swelled up instantly, and turned into a huge angel's shadow tens of thousands of feet. The noble purple angel's wings surged. Moving, with the Holy Spirit of angels, the power of blessing is like a powerful reassurance pill, turning into countless hot angel feathers and falling on the souls of countless coalition forces, soothing the fears in the hearts of everyone. This battle is only a battle to the death. Xiao Yang. Until the crowd completely disappeared, among the few people left behind in the endless fire territory, a sentimental figure slightly covered the boudoir door, and the inner uneasiness and restlessness were particularly intense. There seemed to be some indescribable intuition telling her that Xiao Yang and the others would definitely lose in this trip. And with the actions of Xiao Yang and others, the evil clan outside the realm also moved, and even the black and white scorching sun that was constantly devouring the life of the world seemed to have a feeling, and it turned out to be slowly approaching the land of the Buddha. At this moment, the Second World War, the final decisive battle between the Great Thousand World and the foreign evil race, is also the prelude to the complete opening at this moment. This video will end here.